Dear students, today we are going to discuss about agency of social change, school as a social subsystem. The main objectives are to get familiar with the meaning of social change and social system, to know about the relationship of education and social change, to get an insight in the school as a social system. It's hard to realize the magnitude of revolution of which the schools were the instrument. It is not only the mass of the people have been taught to read and write and that the universities are open to talent. What has happened to social revolution in which cultural authority has shifted from family and social tradition to school? The agency of social revolution was education. There are educationists and thinkers who think that the notion that education can change the society is an illusion. Education is not a cure for all the ills of the world any more than it is responsible for causing them. Education at best has at its disposal only limited time and means for satisfying all the expectations that individuals and society bring to the educational process. Social change. Change is the law of life, and changes in society are always taking place. Changes may be slow, so slow that people may not even perceive them. There are times when they are so rapid and drastic. In all spheres of life, things are changing in the economic sphere, in the political fields, in the sphere of education, and so on. Social change to a great extent are brought about through the process of education. Twofold functions of education in social change. The problems of education in relation to social change are twofold: adjustment to changing situation, creation of a new order through change in knowledge, new ideas, and or in other words, education for social progress. Agencies of education and social change. In the words of Dewey, by various agencies, unintentional and designed society transforms of its own resources and ideals. Education is thus a fostering, adventuring, and cultivated process. All these words mean that it implies attention to the conditions of growth. When we have outcome of the process in mind, we speak of education as shaping, forming, molding activity, that is shaping into standard form of social activity. Types of agencies of education contributing to social change. Formal agencies of education, schools, colleges, institutions of higher education. Informal agencies of education. Home, peer group, library, reading room, social clubs, press, films, radio, TV, internet, telephone. Mass media includes telegraphy. Non-formal agencies of education. Correspondence courses, adult education centers, open schools, open university, distance education, continuing classes. School as a social institution and an agent of social change. Schools are the prominent part of contemporary society's formal organization of education. They are particular institutions separated out from other spheres of social life and invested with the functions of socializing young people into the culture of society. As the pace of change has accelerated markedly in the decades, an increasingly important part of socializing process is to prepare young people for adult life in this dynamic, ever-changing world. As society changes, so too does society's expectations of school. Schools are inextricably linked to the forces of societal change. NCF pointed out that the schools have a major role to play in ensuring that children are socialized into a culture of self-reliance, resourcefulness, peace-oriented values, and health. The overriding expectations from education is that it should provide the individual with the means to be successful in the world which she or he inhabits. So, educating is about achieving. There is an expectation that the individual wants to achieve in order to succeed in life. The ability of education system is to enable each individual child to achieve success in bound up in the form, structure and conception of the knowledge that makes up the school curriculum. Mere conservation of culture is not enough. Rayburn feels the progressive school can never be content that the present generation should simply remain where the forefathers were. Dewey observes the school is primarily a social institution. The future of mankind depends upon the education imparted in schools. A world whose schools are unreformed is an unreformed world. Writes H.G. Wells, this shows to what extent proper organization of school is necessary. According to K.G. Seiden, the school is a center of vigorous life. It is in direct, intimate contact with the realities of the life around, reflecting the best and the worthiest of its features, which are simple enough to appeal to the child. Elements in the school contributing to social change. School climate and environment, contents of the curriculum, methodology of instruction, school discipline, co-curriculum program, teachers' attitude, self-government in school, school relation with the community, provision of rich and varied facilities. Programs of the school in social change. Training in art of living together. The school activities should provide training in the art of living together, making provision for experimentation. The school laboratory will not be a toy affair where a few sample and carefully planned experiments are performed under vigilant eye to the teacher who sees that the prescribed routines followed. It will endeavor to give them something of the thrill and joy of discovering and the educative experience of learning through trial and error. Developing opportunities for self-discipline. Discipline in the school will not be the matter of arbitrary rules and regulations, enforced through the authority of the teachers, helped by the lure of the reward or the fear of punishment. The student will be given full freedom to organize functions, to conduct many of the school activities through their own committees, and even to deal with a certain type of disciplinary cases. In this way, discipline may be maintained through the influence of the social group, and it will gradually lead to the development of the self-discipline. Developing child's entire personality. School should provide a rich, varied pattern of activities to cater to development of its children's entire personality. It has to formulate a scheme of hobbies, occupations, and projects that will appeal to draw out hidden powers of children of varying temperament and aptitude, transforming itself into activity school. The school must be transformed into an activity school because activity has an irresistible appeal for every normal child and in his natural path to the goal of knowledge and culture. Training in democratic living. We have embarked upon a new way of life. That is democratic way of life. So, for bringing about social change, schools should incorporate such activities as students' self-government. Developing scientific outlook. Emphasis on all programs should be laid in the development of scientific temper in the minds of the students. School as a center of community service. School must provide opportunities to the community to use its resources. School and social service. From time to time, the students should provide opportunities to undertake social service activities. Social system. Every society is a product of its own history and its relation to other societies. But all societies, their unique configuration, have some common characteristics. Those are called social systems. A social system represents a particular arrangements of status and roles that exist from the people occupying them. Social system is composed of the patterned interactions of members. From its functional point of view, social system consists of elements with mutually dependent parts joined in a more or less stable manner through time. For example, if we consider our own family, we cannot describe it as a whole unit unless each member's unique personality and physical characteristics are taken care of. Each family has a division of labor for household tasks such as buying essential commodities, grocers, balancing the cash book, doing the laundry, taking out the garbage, deciding how money should spend, decide which relations should be visited and when. It also makes its own rules to govern behavior within the family. These rules may be explicit, such as doing household work by youngsters or carrying bread from baker's shop early in the morning by the younger ones, or holding the door open for older adults. Besides, each family has developed a history of its own with symbols ranging from shared possession and family photos to a type of home, a spatial language such as nicknames, phrases that have meaning primarily within the family context, to favorite places to go. These are not features of each individual, but patterns developed by each interactions of family members and their particular way of presenting themselves to the outside world. The school as a social system. School is considered as one of the social groups which has an everlasting impact on the various aspects of the society. The schools are set up by the society for its own enrichment and betterment. From home, the child is sent to school for receiving education of formal nature. The child, in fact, fails to learn many things at home, and those are to be taught by the school. In school, there are teachers, principals, and students, etc. Each has a well-defined social position. These defined social positions are disturbed in the hierarchical order. From top to bottom, we see heads of the institutions, teachers and students with live interactions with each other. Besides, we see these people making interactions among themselves along with various social positions. In an organization, interact with one another in terms of those positions that constitute a social system. It has been always observed that students observed various types of interactions and talk about them. If we see a student saying that teachers in the school are all the time quarreling with one another or are indifferent towards the student, he is commenting on the social system of the school. Here, comments are on the interactions in the people who hold defined positions within the school. School plays a very important role in the formal socialization of the child. The school not only offers instructions, but it also means the children and the adolescents away from the protected life in the family. Children are exposed to non-familial influence and environments. There is a shift in favor of impersonal approach. The ascriptive and particularistic bases of family have forgotten for the time being. While a boy or a girl finds himself or herself in a school, apart from learning and instruction, there is great measure of socialization of the children so that they can internalize adult roles. Moreover, care is taken to see that these roles would be performed with a degree of efficiency. The school is an agency through which individual personalities are modified. The school provides training for wider social existence. Of course, the school reflects the hierarchy based on generation. But there is also a great facility for mixing and growing up with those similar age groups. School makes efforts to reduce certain disparities of socio-economic status of the students in terms of their family, class, caste, etc. In the school, great emphasis is placed on achievement. Achievement can be of different types, scholastic and non-scholastic. The school has its own system of hierarchy, which is largely based on achievement and performance rather than on ascription and quality. Thus, the school tends to emphasize universalism as against particularism. The school is a prototype of external world where each person would be judged on his or her own merits. The subjective element is reduced to its minimum. The school opens out avenues for further career and advancement, primarily in terms of achievement. Thus, the performance in the school would largely decide whether or not students go for a higher education, such as college or university education. The teaching-learning situation is a replica of the exchange model. There is also training for acceptance of authority. The social structural aspects of schools. The school as a social system can be analyzed on structural and functional point of view. It is believed that there are various types of schools which have certain basic similarities both on the structural and functional planes. Structural aspect. Structurally, the school is a formal agency of socialization, training and instruction. It has its own structure which is as follows. The school may be governed by the State Department of Education or a private management body. Principal or headmaster is at the top of the hierarchy in the school. Then there are teachers in charge of various classes and also special teachers to teach certain subjects like mathematics, science, English, social studies, etc., as well as teachers who are put in charge of co-curricular activities such as sports, crafts and drawing, etc. There may also be some administrative officials like head clerks, typists and the lower staff, etc., depending on the nature of the school. The local community may be represented by selected representatives who would be on the governing body of the school. In some cases, running of the school is a part and parcel of the jurisdiction of local political authority such as Panchayat or the Zilla Parishad. Then again, as for the curricula and the courses and system of examination, etc., the school is subject to the control of the State Education Department. Executive control is maintained by the State Education Department in terms of system of inspection of school from time to time. The purpose of such inspection is to ensure that the requisite standards with respect to academic level, provision of facilities for teaching and accommodation, etc., are adhered to. The structure of authority. The headmaster or the principal is responsible for overall supervision, guidance and control. Due to the role specificity, the teachers being subordinate to him, the student has to accept the authority of teachers completely. The system of having a class teacher facilitates the acceptance of the authority of the teacher because the teacher knows every student very well in terms of strengths and weakness. The principal and the teachers themselves may be subject to other authorities such as the state departments, etc. Important functions of the school as a social system. School is as good an educational agency as is the home. Herbert Johnson is right because he regards the school as an auxiliary of the home, called into being by parents to aid them in fulfilling one of their parental responsibilities. The important functions of school are: socializes. The school is an idealistic epitome of social life. The school socializes the child immensely. Children from different families come to school where they come in contact with one another. They are together in morning assembly, in the classrooms, in the library, in the canteens, and in the playgrounds. Interaction among them takes place. They learn many things from one another. The younger children also learn from the seniors. In certain cases, the seniors also may learn from the juniors. The children become more and more socially efficient through the process of schooling. The school can start some clubs, societies, associations, etc., and thereby it can help in greater socialization. For example, there may be youth club, badminton club, carom club, literary society, etc. It provides a common platform where different people come in contact with each other and help in improving the social climate. Teaches. The school teaches the children and the learners are able to learn good deal from there. Different subjects are taught in the school. Different teachers have impact on the personalities of the children. Sometimes the lessons taught in the school have their everlasting effects. Modifies behavior. The child goes school for the modification of his or her behavior. There are different situations in school where the child comes in contact with others. There is interaction between teacher and student and student and student. It helps in modifying the behavior of learner. The child comes out of the school as a modified individual. Helps in physical development. The school helps the children in their physical growth and development. Coming from the different background, the children find open environment in the school. They are able to enjoy the company of classmates during recess and also in the library. Their participation in different games help in their physical development. Preserves and promotes culture. The school acquaints the children with their culture. The organization of different functions, celebrations of festival, teach them a good deal about their culture. The textbooks also have material related to culture. Thus, the different lessons in the textbooks give them good working knowledge of their culture. Teaches fellow feeling. The school provides fellow feelings to all types of students. In the school, the children are away from their parents and they are in search of security and affection. These things they are able to have with them with the company of their fellow beings. With this, the children become well-wisher of one another. A center of community life. Community does exist and it does certain functions, but all that takes place generally in informal situations and often it remains unknown. School provides a place where community people can meet, plan and work. In this regard, the Secondary Education Commission rightly remarked, school is a small community within a large community and the attitude and values and modes of behavior which have currency in national life are bound to be reflected in school. Thus, the school is a social institution set up by the society to train and discipline its future citizens in certain forms of its activities. It must play a major role in molding the ideas, habits and attitudes of children with a view to producing well-balanced personalities, physically strong, mentally alert, emotionally stable, culturally sound and socially efficient, providing balanced, purified and simplified environment. According to Dewey, the function of the school is to simply purify and balance the activities of the society. The school curriculum should reflect all this. Dear learners, this was all about today's program. Hope you have learned some new exciting things. Thank you for your attention. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.